You touched on this a little bit. What was his personality like as a person, and whether it
Oh,
changed or not when he became internationally famous?
you know this, he was the guy that didn't change, even with fame. He simply was this guy, and he had some interesting personality traits. I think he was certainly a mechanical genius. Everyone said that even as a child, he understood machines more so than he did people, and that would continue through his entire life. So even at the age of 7, he could take apart motors and put them back together. He understood how to work a car when they were brand new. He could invent ways of moving ice down to their ice house easier with levers and pulleys. No one had taught him that. He just actually could see it. He was also a loner. He didn't particularly care to hang out with other people. And even as a child, he said that one of my favorite quotes of his was, "Why bother to play with other children when I'm so much more superior than them? They're not that interesting." And that's something that will continue with him through his entire life too. He was unbelievably compartmentalized, so he never carried friendships from one period of his life to another. So he never had a childhood friend. When he's a grown up, you never see him hanging out with his old Air Force buddies. Typically guys get together, right, when they've shared that experience. Not him. You never saw him hang around with those early flying guys after he moves on. So his early guys that he barnstormed with and were young pilots with as an air male pilot, he didn't have much to do with them either. He was emotionally cold. He didn't like public displays of affection. And I'm sure he got that from his mother, who would, instead of hugging and kissing her little Charles goodnight, would actually shake his hand goodnight. But that continued on too. So he didn't like to be touched. He didn't like to be held, didn't like public displays of affection. Many people have said to me, and I'm a little resistant because, you hate to be a psychiatrist with hindsight, but a lot of people have said that his behavior is pretty much on the spectrum, and it is quite a bit like that. He was also really, what's the word I want? Exacting. He made lots of lists, and he followed those lists. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. He expected other people to follow his lists as well. So he's an interesting personality. I've yet to quite figure it entirely out.
Absolutely.
He is an enigma. Yeah.